going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. Today, on episode 81 of the podcast, we are talking about the 2019 horror film. Is this considered horror?
Horror comedy.
Horror comedy. Yeah. There we go. I'm the worst at describing movies. But we're talking about Ready or Not.
Yes.
I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, is wonderful Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. They're down here today because we have two guests.
You're down here on our Discord. So
I'm looking in all different directions. But joining us from the Quad Pro Quo Podcast is the wonderful Alli and Tammy.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you for having us.
I'm trying to remember exactly how I met you guys. Was it Instagram, Twitter? I feel like that's how I meet everybody. Oh,
Instagram.
Instagram.
Okay. I knew it was either Instagram. I think you're I talk to you guys more on Instagram than I talk to anyone, because mostly it's Twitter and you guys it's mostly Instagram. Because were you like in Twitter jail for a bit?
We were in Twitter jail for a little bit because I stupidly tried to change our birth date on Twitter to like when we premiered, and that apparently made us under 13, and so we got put in Twitter jail.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
What was it? A week?
Yeah, it was a really long time. And this is obviously within the last week when like Elon took over, and so of course everything was going to shit. So it took a while to get us out of Twitter jail.
Because I remember trying to tag you guys in something, and I'm like, I swear to God, they had a Twitter.
A few people like reached out to me, and they were like, "Where did you go?" I'm like, "We're in jail, and I can't do anything about it." So
that's okay. I had you guys on Instagram anyways. But before we get into all the other stuff of the show, why don't you guys talk about your show? Tell us what it's all about.
Sure. So the podcast really sprung out of, for us, the pandemic. Like, my partner Matt and I, when the pandemic was like fully raging and we weren't leaving the house, we started to do like a you pick a movie, I pick a movie kind of a scenario. And it was kind of based off the Quid Pro Quo scene in Silence of the Lambs, where Clarice is trying to get information from Hannibal Lecter. And it was, you tell me something, I tell you something. So we did like a you pick a movie, I pick a movie. And then we moved down to Delaware, which is where we live now. We moved next to Tammy and Guido. And we were like, let's start a podcast. And there's 4 of us, so we called it Quad Pro Quo. So each
twister.
Yeah. So each week, one of us picks a movie and we talk about it, and we do a pass fail. Sometimes we do theme months. We're in the middle of December, so we're doing kind of holiday movies. Right now, we just recorded Black Christmas and Batman Returns, which will come out in December. So yeah.
Which Black Christmas?
The original.
The 1974 one.
The 1974 one, yeah. The original. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it. Your last episode was Love Potion number 9, which I listened to as of this recording yesterday. And
that was Tammy's pick. Yeah,
it was fantastic. You guys, you guys' like conversation is just hilarious from start to finish, because of course, you're all married, like you're married couples, right? Who join up and do it. And I think that's what adds extra for our show, because Dan and Angela being a married couple and riffing off each other. It's so funny. And like, it's just the fact that like I don't remember which one, it was one of your husbands picked Highlander, and none of you liked it. And I was like, I thought Highlander was good, but I guess I've only seen it a long time ago, and I don't remember clearly how bad it actually is.
Yeah. Wait till next week when you have to watch you have to listen to Robot Jocks. Robot Jocks.
Yes.
So bad.
I thought it was like when he announced the movie he was picking, I was like, is that even a real movie? And
Robot Jocks.
You guys are just like, where do we watch this?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Half the time we ask him that, and he's like, yeah, we might have to order it on VHS. It's going to cost us $198 because they haven't made any copies in 25 years.
No.
I'm like, Jesus, okay.
Our show doesn't have that type of budget. If we can't get it on a streaming service or rent it for a few dollars, we're not doing that movie.
No, it's out.
Did we watch it on YouTube? I think we watched it
available on YouTube. I'm pretty sure. So is Highlander. I feel like most of the movies. Yeah, most of the movies that men pick on our show are like, you can watch it on YouTube.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I watched it. I watched Highlander on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like last minute on my phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So much fun.
Yep.
So your show's a blast. So everyone
Thank
out
you.
there who hasn't checked them out, Quad Pro Quo, it's a great show.
I have fun. Thank you so much for saying that. I find it so funny that we all have such different tastes in movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not hard to pick a movie that either like one person loves and the other two despise. So it's a really fun game to try and get the guys to at least the guys. I could probably figure Alli out, but the guys I have to pick strategically sometimes to try and get them to say yes and vote yes.
Right. Or like when you covered Amityville Horror and everyone hated it.
I even hated it.
Yeah, we all did.
Another movie where
that was
I was
her
like,
pick, and she hated
thought
it.
that movie was good, but I guess I haven't seen it in a long time. And to be honest, I'm one of the few who actually enjoys the remake.
I haven't seen the remake. I probably should have. I would have appreciated Ryan Reynolds half naked chopping wood.
Ripped Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Chloe Grace Moretz in her very first role.
Very little girl. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we have been letting our guests pick out the movies that we cover. And you guys picked Ready or Not from 2019, which was great because I don't think any of us had seen it yet. Dan and Angela, you hadn't seen it, right? So, and I just the only thing I've ever seen about it was Dead Meat's kill count on it. Which, yes, I've seen a lot of kill counts without actually watching the movies, but it didn't ruin my viewing experience of this movie because this movie. Listen, my thought: this movie kicks ass. This movie. Go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say I actually had a slightly different experience where you said you've watched the kill count, right? I haven't. I listened to their podcast episode on it, so I had a little more, explained to me about the film. However, it's one of those things where the experience of watching it is substantially different than actually have somebody talking to us, like us talking about this movie. So
we're going to go around and we're going to talk. Of course, we're going to let our guests talk about why they picked this movie and what, their history with the movie. So which one of you actually picked this movie out?
I did, technically.
Sorry,
yeah.
Tammy.
That's okay.
Tammy, the next time you get to pick it.
No, that's fine.
So I guess we'll start with Alli since she picked the movie. So when was the first time you ever saw this? Like, what's your history with this movie?
So I remember seeing the trailer for this movie, and I remember watching the trailer and immediately being like, I'm going to like this movie. I usually have like a pretty good judgment on movies. And I just remember watching the trailer and being like, this looks cool. I'm going to like this movie. I just know it. And so I was really excited for when it came out. I didn't see it in the theater, but I saw it as soon as it was like available on like streaming, and I watched it right away. And I fucking loved it. Like, it's like, it's a horror comedy. So it's like funny. It's a little bit scary, and it has just great people in it. Like, not hugely famous people. Like, Samara Weaving's kind of getting bigger now, and it has like Andie MacDowell in it, and she's kind of been around forever, but it has like just like kind of low key people in it. I just like the aesthetics of it. Like, I was so excited for it when I first saw the trailer, and it was one of those movies that just didn't disappoint when I finally watched it. I just loved it right away. So,
all right, Tammy, you said this is your first time watching it too?
Yeah, this was my first time watching it too, and I was like, all right, what did she pick here? It's a horror movie, and it's we've been watching a lot of horror movies lately. Not that I hate horror movies, but it's just been a run. So I'm like, okay. And then I saw the trailer, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. I was in on the board games. I'm all for like playing board games, and when I heard the hook of the movie, I was very intrigued and wanted to know if it was fake or not. So, and guns, lots of guns, lots of gore. I'm all for that. So her dress turned from red or white to red by the end. So that was pretty epic.
That dress.
Loved it.
I'm going to talk about it a lot.
Oh.
It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I was excited to watch it.
Very cool. I like that pretty much everyone here, other than Allie, has never saw the movie before. This past weekend. So that's really cool. I like hearing all these new viewpoints on it. All right, Angela, start us off. What'd you think of the movie?
So I hadn't seen it before. I didn't watch Kill Count. No, not the podcast or the Dead Meat. I didn't watch their Kill Count. So I had no idea what this movie was about going into it. I'm like, okay, the cover looks cool. I'm like, okay, lady with the gun. I'm all for it. Love the kills. I love the sister, Emily.
Oh, so funny. Mm-hmm.
She was my favorite. I kept screaming. I'm like, why do they keep giving her weapons?
Yeah. And then she's like,
cocaine away from her.
Like that's how she psychs herself up. Like, yes.
That's so great.
But yeah, I mean, I love Andie MacDowell. I've seen her in other things. So I was like, man, she looks familiar. And I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay, I know who she is. Okay. Love Adam Brody. Samara Weaving did a great job. Loved her. Hated her scream.
Was that really her scream, or did that sound
very, I don't know.
Like they
screamed
that.
I said she screams like a goat.
At the very end where she's doing that really long one. I'm like, holy Christ, Samara, stop.
Maybe
please.
It's on purpose because the fact that they talk about sacrificing goats. And they got
well, that's what I was gonna say. She was in that goat pit.
Oh, so annoying.
Yeah, that scream was brain piercing.
Like the first couple of times it was just a few seconds, but then it was like where she was trying to defend herself at the very end, and it was like 10 seconds worth of her screaming. I was like, come on.
A lot of weird modulation going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they
changed
that a little bit.
I absolutely loved it.
Oh my God. Dan?
Oh, goody. All right. First off, I'm going to say what I thought about the movie and I have a couple comments at the end. I really liked this movie. I thought it was really good. I pretty much liked all the characters, even the ones that sucked ass were great. The comedy was fun because it wasn't overbearing comedy. It was like, for those of you that will understand, it's like Evil Dead 2 to Army of Darkness. Like it's like Evil Dead 2. There's moments that are comedic, but it's not constantly in your face like Army of Darkness. Yeah, I think it balances itself well. The situation's ridiculous, and it just goes. And I like how it just pretty much just goes from the get go, and it doesn't stop. And I mean, whatever. There's not a spoiler cap on this shit anyway. Like where Samara Weaving's character just fucking knocks that damn kid out. Like I was so many movies I wish people would do that shit. Just clubs that motherfucker to the ground. I know, right?
Like kids.
Just it's great. It's a fun movie. It's like an hour and 40 minutes long or something like that. It's just it's
great runtime.
It's awesome. It's fantastic. I love pretty much everything about it. It's definitely one of the better horror movies I've seen lately. Outside of that, like I said, I thought this was way better than I realized it was going to be after even listening to a podcast. So, which I try to tell my kid because he watches videos on stuff, and I was like, you need to watch the movie too because it's a different experience than actually just watching video or people talking about it. But anyway, Allie, what does your shirt mean?
What?
It's from Schitt's Creek?
Oh, I don't watch Schitt's Creek. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, well then.
Okay, that totally makes sense. I was like, David? Who the fuck's David?
He doesn't watch TV.
Ew, David. Yeah, it's from Schitt's Creek.
No, I don't watch television shows. And I will say that I need to say one more thing. I did watch most of an episode of y'all's podcast because I usually listen to them at work, and I just did not have the time this week. But it was the Buffy the Vampire Slayer one. And because I don't know why this one I landed on. I've never seen that movie. I didn't watch the television series. I didn't watch the movie before. That one there, I don't know nothing about it outside of some of the characters in it. That's it. I felt personally attacked in part of that because somebody was shitting on people who have soul patches. And I just a little bit of one right down here. And I was like, what is this shit?
The men were obsessed with Luke Perry's facial hair in that movie.
You stop feeling called out. I like that.
I know it does. I took me like 20 years to grow this.
Oh,
I'm just fucking with you. No, but yeah, I just want to mention that it's a fun show. I listened to you guys. It was great. But that's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. I loved this movie from beginning to end. It just keeps you on the edge of your seat. Samara Weaving is phenomenal in this movie. Just she goes from being that scared, like what the fuck is going on type of person to literally just being like she's got to do what she got to do, and she's a badass. Even with just the things she goes through, the injuries she obtains, and it just shows like there's just the world is full of shitty people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just gotta burn the shit down to survive it. And that's exactly what she does in this movie. The rest of the cast, though, so good as well. I mean, I am not the biggest fan of Adam Brody because he always plays a piece of shit, but he is one of those characters where he is kind of like, he's likable, even though he kind of turns into a shitty person at the end because he's got to do what he's got to do as well, based on the fact of like, this shit is all real. Like and that was the thing where he kind of was that guy in the background, like, what the fuck are we even doing? Like, this is what are we doing here? Like, are we really hunting this girl down? Like, I'm just gonna get drunk in the corner. Call me when you guys are done. And then when he kind of like it, goes off in his head, like, oh shit, this is real. That's when he has to make that really tough decision. But then at the end, he redeems himself, and you're like, good on you, Adam Brody. It's funny. His character in this movie is kind of the polar opposite from the character he was in Jennifer's Body, because he's like a Satan worshiper who's the one who actually kills Jennifer. And then in this one, he's kind of the opposite, where he's just like, I don't want to be any part of this shit. I'm going to save the main character instead. So I like.
Well, in Jennifer's Body, he chooses that, and in this movie, he can't choose because he's part of the family. Right. So it's like, yeah.
But the rest of the cast, fantastic. Henry Czerny, who played the dad. Oh my God, he's so funny. Like,
amazing.
When you go into this movie, I mean, if you go into it blind, like I knew the little bit here and there of it, but if you go into it blind, you think this is going to be like that generic rich family that's just got to do a shitty thing and they're not going to feel any remorse. Where I feel like this family is just like, we got to do this because we're going to die if we don't do this. And
but even
it felt that way at the end, like towards the end, or when we got through like the killing of the first 3 people, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
And then you get more into like the meat and potatoes of, the game and the history of the family, and you get to really see the fear on the older generation's faces of like, if we don't get this done by midnight, we're all gonna die. And I felt like that, I don't know, they knew that they had to get this done. And then the fear was then passed down to the kids. And then they, by the end of the movie, as it got later and later, were like, all right, we need to get this done or we're going to die. Like, they weren't believers in the beginning, but as it kept getting later and later and later, and she kept winning and getting into the yard and getting into through the fence. I don't know. I think it got more and more intense as time went on.
Yeah, well, it's blind faith, to be honest with you. I mean, that's what all religion is. I mean, we believe in stuff that we don't know if it's real. We're just hoping that in the end of our lives that we've picked the right the right path. And so when, she keeps saying like, nothing's going to happen, no one's going to die, we'll be fine. And they're like, but you don't know that. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, no one knows anything, to be honest with you. So they just kind of believe that that's, I guess it's scarier to think that it's going to happen than to think that it's not going to happen. So, yeah.
By the end of this movie, it leaves you kind of with the question of why. Like, why was she spared? And we'll get to that when we cover go through the whole plot and we get to the end. But it's one of those things where even after watching, I was like, I wonder why, everything happened and she was able to walk out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So this movie was directed by Matt. This is gonna be difficult for me. Matt Bettinelli Open and Tyler Gillett, also known as Radio Silence. They also directed Scream 5 that came out this year, and they're also directing Scream 6, which comes out next year at some point. This was written by Guy Busick and R. Christopher Murphy. The Guy Busick, I think he was a director on the Stand Against Evil show. He did some Castle Rock episodes. He also helped write the 2022 Scream, and he's helping write the 2023 Scream.
Okay.
This stars, of course, Samara Weaving as our main character, Grace. We have Adam Brody as Daniel Le Domas. We have Mark O'Brien as Alec Le Domas. We have Henry Zerny as Tony, the dad, the matriarch of the family. We have Andy McDowell as Becky, I said that wrong. The patriarch, and this is the matriarch. I know these things. We have Melanie Scrofano as Emily Le Domas. She's the one, and we were talking about this before we started recording, but she's the one who's in that Winona Earp show.
She's in Winona Earp. Yeah, she plays Winona Earp, and she's also in Letterkenny. If you've ever watched Letterkenny or Winona Earp, she's in both.
So she's the cocaine addicted sister who. She's just so funny.
Amazing.
We have Christian Brune as Fitch, who in the beginning you're like, God, this fucking guy sucks. To like, oh man, I kind of feel bad about the fight for this. Dude.
Yeah. So if you've ever watched Orphan Black, he is one of the clones' husbands on Orphan Black.
Now, Orphan Black is the show that has the actress from She-Hulk, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Tatiana Maslany. Yeah. So he is in Orphan Black. She plays obviously multiple characters. She plays different clones, and he plays the husband of one of the clones on Orphan Black. Canada, another Canadian show.
Canada's just doing great things up there, producing amazing talent. Elise Levesque as Charity. She is terrifying. And also Nikki Guadagni as Helene, who is also terrifying. And John Ralston as Stevens. And then we have the children. We don't really need to talk about them because they suck.
They do.
Georgie.
George.
The most.
Georgie's the only one. Do you hear the other kids?
Georgie.
Oh, any kid named Georgie. Wow.
Yeah,
I feel like they don't say the other kid's name.
No. He never shows up until I think the beginning when you first see the two shits, and then at the end when things happen.
You don't see them anymore.
Pretty much. So this movie was released August 21st, 2019.
Well, you see bits of them.
Yeah. On a budget of $6 million, which is insane. Like just this house alone. Because was this filmed on a set, or did they film this in an actual house?
Filmed in an actual house.
It was in Canada, ironically.
I want that house.
Yes.
Toronto.
The only thing,
Yeah.
I think the only thing they built for the movie was the goat pit.
Yeah.
And everything else is like this giant estate. Like they even had to be very careful in some of the rooms to not like touch anything, basically, because it's like a historic, like
beautiful
fucking house. It's gorgeous, yeah. But it's all filmed like in one place, basically. Yeah,
it's amazing.
I was reading. I believe the interior some of the exterior shots was a different location. Because not all the extras, but some were a different location because it was the house from Billy Madison.
Oh yes, I did read that because the pool.
Yeah.
Okay. The box office. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the house is called Casa Loma, and it's in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and it's a like a heritage property and a museum. So it's like a huge mansion. You can take tours of it and everything like that. Yeah, I think they used it.
Yeah,
I think they used it for like X-Men for a little bit.
Yeah,
and
movies.
For Crimson Peak.
Oh,
like maybe maybe exterior shots in Crimson Peak. Yeah,
that's a great movie.
So good.
Box office $57.8 million, which is a lot more than its budget. So it was deemed a success.
That's great.
Got a lot of praise, and I really didn't see a lot of negative comments on this one. You know, you get them here and there, but just everybody, the critics and audience alike, love this movie, and it's well deserved.
Indeed.
So, the board games that they, so the what was it, the La Braille?
Ladomus.
No, that's them, but it was the guy that they had to like.
Oh, LaBelle. Mr. LaBelle.
Yeah, so the game it put in like 200 different ideas for the game, and that's when they finally came up with the idea. The guy who's the face of him, and also you see him at the end of the movie, is one of the producers, James Vanderbilt. He ended up playing LaBraille. He was the model for the board games, and then also you see the ghostly figure at the end.
Yeah, I read that when it said James Vanderbilt, and I was like James, like Vanderbilt, like
I think he
is it like a
Vanderbilt?
A ghost?
I think all Vanderbilts in this country are Vanderbilts from that.
Are Vanderbilts?
Yeah, in some way. But no, he's a well-known producer. I think he was also behind like the Amazing Spider-Man movies. He was a producer for Zodiac. His first ever producing credit was Darkness Falls from 2003. A movie that I've listened to a lot of podcasts about recently, and nobody likes that movie. And I'm like, God damn, nobody likes the things I like.
I like it. I like it.
I don't think you guys haven't covered that one, though.
So no.
I would have called you out. How dare you? No.
I like it.
When I get to an like episode where I don't agree with you, then you'll know.
No, Guido likes terrible stuff.
Yeah, your husband does.
Oh Lord,
he does too.
That's relatable.
And he's not here to defend himself, which is great.
Next time,
under the bus.
Next time.
It's okay. You're here to defend yourself most times, and I still.
And I defend myself quite poorly, or just make really obscene comments to try to mask it. Yeah.
So Margot Robbie was actually up for this role, for the role of Grace. I said this role like you were supposed to know what I'm talking about. Was up for the role of Grace.
Oh, I could see her playing it.
Right, because they kind of look similar, right? But also she's a very charismatic actor, and she would have done a great job as well.
Yeah.
I wonder what her scream would have been like.
Probably a double goat.
A double goat, yeah.
I don't know, an elephant. What the fuck?
It probably would have been really girly. I don't know how she would be.
I still think that those screams were not her actual screams. Like they just seemed like it was one of those things where I heard her scream and I was like, I feel like I've heard this in a different movie. Like I've heard this scream in another movie.
Like the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah. It's like, because usually the Wilhelm scream they use for men, at least from what I've seen throughout my life, it's like, could this be the woman's Wilhelm scream? That would be pretty sick though. The scream is obnoxious.
I literally just like Googled Samara Weaving scream, and the only thing that comes up is that she's gonna be in Scream 6. So,
which is awesome.
Nothing about her actual scream.
Please.
That's what it said. When I Googled it, it said Samara Weaving Scream 6. So, I mean, it makes sense. It's directed by the same guys.
Right.
So.
No, it's not that. There's a fucking video.
It was not gonna play. I promise.
No, it's Samara. What's her last name?
Weaving.
Samara Weaving supercut. Ready or Not screaming, and it's just like a minute and 30 minutes.
So Dan, if you didn't know, Samara Weaving's uncle is Hugo Weaving, who played Mr. Smith from The Matrix?
Mr. Smith.
Yeah. Yep. And he's been in Lord of the Rings, and he was the voice of Megatron.
He shouldn't have been.
Transformers movies.
I'm going to die on that hill.
Yeah. So that's her uncle?
It's her uncle.
That's her uncle. I thought it was her father because they look
did at first,
so much alike.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just her uncle. And I was like, wow, what does her dad look like? Because she looks exactly like Hugo Weaving. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also found it funny that, Samara, her role in this is somebody who is trying to escape from Satanists when she was in a movie called The Babysitter, where she plays a Satanist, where she's kind of on the other side of the role there. So I thought that was pretty funny. And she looks drastically, like not in a bad way, but she looks drastically older from the Babysitter role because she's supposed to look like a teenager in that movie. And then she looks, older in this one, and the fact that she kicks ass in a wedding dress the entire time is just like, fucking, oh. Everybody's kicking ass in like dress clothes. I'm like, fuck that. I can imagine like running around a mansion like trying to kill somebody with a. I mean, I don't want to imagine that ever.
No,
but going around a mansion with trying to kill somebody in like dress pants and a dress shirt. Fuck that.
She does switch out of those heels into the Chuck Taylors.
Yes,
that helps her. I think.
Yes.
And she
I was
rips
happy
the
to
dress.
see that.
Yeah, she rips.
Yeah.
I was waiting. I was like, she's running around in this dress. I'm like, how's she gonna run? And about that time, that's when she.
I mean, it
like,
broke
okay.
my heart when she tore that dress because that dress is
It's a really
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's
really
gorgeous.
nice.
But she needed to tear it.
Yes. So this
It's a
reminded
little
me,
too long to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, when you go to a wedding and you're wearing a dress shirt and you're just like, well, I have a shirt underneath. I'm taking this thing off. I can't move.
Yep.
I can't move.
Yeah.
I gotta dance.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
just
these
needed to
things
walk.
haven't adapted over time.
What's that?
I'm surprised these things haven't adapted over time. Like our generation has said, fuck it, and we're just all gonna have dresses or clothes that are much more comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
You know?
gotta wear the-
Excited when
gotta
mine
be
has
tradition.
pockets.
Oh, pockets are great.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
women's clothes don't have pockets.
I
Like,
don't understand
Understand
pockets.
why. Clothing
See, men-
designers create pockets for
don't
women, please.
yeah. See, men don't understand because their pockets are, I could fit like half my arm down men's pockets, but I can't even fit half my hand in women's pockets. I can't even.
Yep.
My knife is this long, and it sticks out about this much out of women's pants, and I'm like, I've got to carry it. I have to carry it.
You have to get
Bolo.
carpenter pants. That's what my mom used to call them.
Women are
carpenter
supposed to
pants.
marry or to carry purses and stuff. So
And that's why they do it. And I hate it. It's like I
stupid.
have my keys, my knife, and my money all in my pockets, and I don't need a purse.
How do you get it? You got a purse, but that's an extra thing. It's not actually on your person.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it should be on you.
Well, Tammy, did you recognize Samara Weaving from anything else? I was gonna ask you this.
Oh my gosh. I'm not good with names.
Don't look it up.
Okay, so remember that show on Hulu, 9 Perfect Strangers?
Mm.
I'm waiting for it to kick in on her. Remember, had Melissa McCarthy in it. And it was like Nicole Kidman, and they were in that like wellness retreat.
I
Oh,
love that show.
she was in that. Oh, she was the prissy
Social media girl with the crazy teeth.
Yes.
That was her. She
And
looks
she
so different in that
was-
show.
Wow. That's
That
where
was her.
I recognized her from.
She's so tan, and she has the big capped teeth, and she's like an Instagram influencer on that show.
Doesn't she
So
have like the famous rapper husband?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he like won the lottery or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yes. He won the lottery.
Yeah.
They come in that really outlandish car.
Mhm.
Yes, like a Lamborghini or something like that. Yeah, that's her.
Like, over
Yeah.
the top.
Ah, that was a good show.
Yeah.
She's also like a huge nerd, like in real life. Like she has like you see some of the tattoos in the movie, like she has a little chili pepper on her wrist. She has a Harry Potter tattoo, which is funny because then she was in a movie with Daniel Radcliffe who played Harry Potter. Like she's like a
Oh, is that
huge
horns?
No,
which one
Guns
is it?
Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo. I haven't
Yeah.
seen
So she's like a huge like nerd in real life. Like I've watched interviews with her. She just seems so cool.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from Australia.
So she'd be our friend.
She's New Zealand.
Or New
actually.
Zealand. Right, correct. Yeah.
And she's a Kiwi. Yeah.
Yes, you gotta make sure you are correct with that because they're not the same thing.
They'll fuck you up.
It's like mixing up an Irishman and a Scotsman.
Mm-hmm.
Not good.
Don't do that.
Nope. So, you guys ready to talk about the plot of this movie?
Yes.
So, Allie, Tammy, if you guys have anything to say while I'm going through the plot, you just interrupt me. I'll stop
Okay.
talking and you guys talk. All right?
Okay.
That's literally what I tell everybody.
It's fun. It's fun.
I'm ready.
So the beginning of this movie starts with kind of like the cool panning down the hallway. It shows all the board games. You're kind of like trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. You get to see like the LaBelle games that are kind of mixed into actual board games that exist in real life.
Mhm.
You then see two little boys running for their lives. They're not playing a game. They are hiding because something bad is happening. They run around a corner. They see someone is holding their stomach in pain. They're trying to find a place to hide, and one of the kids puts the other one in kind of like a cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turns around, and it's the guy that the dude who's impaled in the stomach with an arrow. And he's like, you got to help me. You got to help me. They're like, you don't know what the hell is going on. You're like, what? Why do you have an arrow in your stomach in the middle of this mansion? What is going on? And then
help me. I fell on my keys. Oh.
And then they turn around, and it's like there's like 4 or 5 different people there. They're all holding different weapons. And then you got a bride in the back, in her nice dress. She's bawling her eyes out.
And they're all wearing these like creepy masks too.
Yeah.
It's like they're made out of like human flesh.
Yeah.
Like they look human skin masks. Very creepy.
They're creepy as hell. And they end up shooting another arrow into him, and then they kind of drag him into this room. And then it goes to 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those boys is getting married to Grace, played by Samara Weaving. And you find out the brother is played by Adam Brody. He's kind of a drunk. And I love how Samara Weaving's kind of just sitting there in front of the mirror, smoking and talking about, it's like she's doing her vows.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alex comes in, her future husband. And I like how she's just
such a weenie.
Your family hates me. Your dad hates me. And your brother just keeps trying to hit on me and stuff like that. I'm like, is he talking about Daniel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it? Okay. Because I never got that vibe from him throughout the movie. Like, he seemed like more of like a protective person than trying to be a creep.
I think possibly that he maybe was doing that to drive her away.
Right.
Personally. Yeah. Because he does come in and he's like, last chance, you can run. Mm-hmm. Like, you can tell that I think he likes Grace from the start. Mm-hmm. And he thinks she's too good of a person to be in this family, regardless of the pact with the devil, we'll say, or whatever. He likes her as a human being. And I think potentially he's doing that to be like, just get the fuck out. Like, you don't want to be in this family. You don't want me as a brother-in-law because I'm going to be constantly drunkenly hitting on you.
Right.
I think he's maybe trying to do that to save her. But
that makes a lot of sense thinking back. Like, it's like Alex and Grace say, he's like, you can go. Just like, if you want to leave. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why are you putting so much pressure on me here? Like, we're about to get married and you're like trying to like force me out already.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out later why. But she's in love.
You think to yourself, like, it's been 30 years since the game was played before. I mean, wouldn't it be like a low risk that game would be played again? Like, knowing what we know later.
There's always that chance, I guess.
There's always that chance.
Have to play a game, and there's always that chance it could happen again.
Yeah, that Russian roulette.
Is the reason he plays. I think at some point, someone in the end of the movie says, like, because he says something in towards the end of the movie, like, it's not real. And I think the dad says, like, if you thought that, you wouldn't have had her choose a card then.
Yeah.
So you don't believe that it's not real. You believe. So, yeah.
But she's in love, so she stays.
I know.
And who takes?
So she gets to wear that gorgeous dress. So.
Yeah. But
oh my gosh, you in this dress.
Pictures before the ceremony.
It depends. I didn't take pictures before my ceremony. Tammy, did you? Before you got married?
Not with my groom. No.
Yeah,
it depends.
I was
got married at the courthouse.
You don't want to see. You don't want to see the bride before the ceremony. At least that's the tradition behind it.
Traditional.
Yeah. So usually take.
But also usually like the butler isn't taking your wedding photos, which is what happens in this movie. Yeah. It's that creepy butler. It's also the wedding photographer.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I love every group is taking pictures, and you get Daniel and his wife Chastity. Is it Charity? It's Charity. I almost said Chastity.
I think it's Charity.
It's Charity. And Charity's just like, I don't like her. He's like, why? Because she has a soul.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so good.
She says something like she's pretty in like a last call at the dive bar sort of way. And I'm like, your name's Charity. What pole did you climb off of to marry into this family? Like, let's be honest. We should not be throwing stones. Okay.
More like we know the pole she climbed onto to get.
Yes, exactly. Like, let's calm down. But all of them also keep saying, like, is she one of us?
Yeah.
Like, she's cute, but she's not one of us.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like, is there a certain look apparently to be one of us? Like, it's very weird. Yeah.
Later, maybe what she meant. I don't know.
She doesn't have brown hair like they do.
I think it's the color of your blood thing.
And like, are they talking about their money or their status at the time? That's what I think we're supposed to think.
Yeah.
I don't think so because later Charity says something like, you know what I came from and I'll never go back to that. So I don't think that she came from money either.
No, I don't think so either. But at this point in the movie, like, we find out that she went through the foster system and she didn't really actually like have a stable family, and she was looking for acceptance in a family and was looking forward to, getting to know everybody.
Yeah.
And wanted them to accept her.
Yeah, that was her ultimate goal, is to get the family. It wasn't about the money like the others.
Yeah.
Annie McDowell's there, and she's the mom. Becky. And she's kind of a mixed bag. You kind of, at points, you feel like you need to like her, or you kind of get that feeling like she's not a terrible person. But I feel like that's just kind of how most of this family kind of reacts. It's like, in the beginning, it's like, oh, we got to do this stupid thing. Like, are we really doing this? And then by the end, they're like, oh, fuck, we really got to do this because we're all going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think... Yeah, she says something like to Grace before the wedding, and she says, "You're nervous. Oh, because your blood isn't blue enough." They said the same thing about me. Yeah. And I think maybe it's a thing with the men in the family. They pick women who are either like wanting acceptance or a family, or poor, so they're willing to do what you need to do to be a part of this family.
Yay! They get married.
Yay!
It's a joyful time for about 3 seconds until this weird scene where they go upstairs and you think they're about to, have their bang it out for the first time after getting married, and then
they're consummating the marriage, and then in comes crazy Aunt
Helene.
Aunt Helene, why are you in the fucking corner? Get out of there!
And there's hidden trap doors in this house.
They're waiting for you downstairs. Yeah. Okay, can I finish first? This thing doesn't just go down immediately. Like, gotta give it a little time here. But he's also trying to tell Grace about what's about to happen, because and then he tells her, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, we get to play a game. That sounds fun." It's kind of weird do, but all right, cool. I'm in.
Yeah.
And backgammon, I love backgammon.
Yeah,
you're like,
checkers. Yeah, hell yeah, let's do that.
I like how he says down in the music room, and she's like, a totally normal room to have in a house. Like,
right.
Like, so, like, you fucking rich weirdo. Like, get out of here.
Oh god,
a totally normal room.
Totally normal room. So yeah, they go down. You find. You're wondering who Mr. LaBelle is, because you kind of see that everywhere. You see the games, and they kind of mention him, but you don't really get the full history of him yet. Grace kind of has a bonding moment with Becky, and that's when you get the whole thing about her being in the foster system, and she just wants to have a family. And Becky's like, "Well, you seem cool. I like you." And I kind of felt like this was genuine. Like, I don't feel like Becky was doing this to just kind of, hi, I've got to put on that happy face, but internally I kind of hate you for no reason.
Yeah.
It was more like, I really do care for you, and I really hope the thing that's about to happen in this movie doesn't happen. But it does.
These people don't seem to want to pull their punches when they're talking about each other either, so.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to hide it.
No.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think she genuinely likes Grace, and I think she's hoping that the one card that you don't want to pull, that she doesn't pull it, because she says, like, please try to bring Alex back into the fold, and we've missed him. And I think she's genuinely hoping that maybe she gets checkers or go fish instead of the card she pulls.
Something easy.
Something easy that doesn't require what she has to do.
Yeah, because you get that conversation between Alex and his dad about like what what if she pulls that card and you don't know what card it is, and he's like, we got to do what we got to do. It's part of the ritual. Like we got to go with the flow. So let's just hope she doesn't. And you meet the sister, Emily, who is just a fucking riot. She brings her 2 shitty kids and her shitty husband.
Yeah.
They're like the worst fucking rich people. I hate them. They come in and they're like, we couldn't get our charter out of De Gaulle. It's like, fuck off. It's just got like Coke hanging from her nose. Like, it's just awful.
It's not even subtle anymore. It's like, money's not a problem.
I follow you on Instagram. We're gonna be best friends. Like, shut up. I love Melody Scarfato so much. She's so annoying.
She's so great.
She's so great.
And Aunt Helene comes in and she's just a joy. She's the most dry person on the planet. She's like, it's time. Because she's like the most serious about this whole game night thing because we won't talk about it yet. It's game time. I can't
tell if she's serious or if it's like the Botox and the facelift.
Right. Like, damn, does her face make any other expression?
Like, okay,
it doesn't move. It's beautiful.
She was in The Handmaid's Tale for a couple episodes, and I'm like, damn, she looked...
Was she really?
Who did she play?
When?
She was Aunt Sarah. She was the one that had the crazy hair in... I think it was when they first got there. And
she was early.
She was only in 2 episodes. But I'm like, damn, she looks so different because in The Handmaid's Tale, you could see all the wrinkles. And in this, I'm like, I don't think her face moves.
Yeah.
Gotta say, I love her hair, though. That white hair.
I love her hair.
Phenomenal.
Aunt Lydia grew up like 45 minutes from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love that woman. She's such a great actress.
Fantastic. She's awesome. You guys have seen Hereditary?
Yes.
Yeah, she's really good in that.
Yeah.
We'll have to watch it.
So yeah, it's game time. And you get to go in this really cool game room that has their fucking name just plastered on the doors. You're like, oh, wow. Because we needed that. You only live in this house. We need a door that says your name.
They have to remember who they are.
True.
And it's only for family members.
Yes.
Right.
It's a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A Dominion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we get like a prequel like show of like the history of this family, like going through these?
I would love that.
Like that would be awesome.
This movie made money. I'm surprised they haven't done something from it before because they obviously can't do it after. So.
Yeah.
I mean, they do talk about another family being affected. So, right?
Well, they could do. I mean, we'll talk about it, but
yeah,
the beginning of the movie where they have the flashback to the 80s with that hunting, they could do that. Even though we know how it's going to end, but still. Yeah, people saw Titanic. We knew how that was going to end. It's fine.
It was. So it hasn't stopped other horror movies, and to be honest, I wouldn't be too overly positive if they made a sequel for this. How horror movies tend to go with their sequels.
It's only 3 years old, so it's not like it's a decade old. It's only like surprisingly, like it feels like this movie came out like 5-6 years ago, and it's only been a few years.
Yeah.
So the father tells the family history about how his great-great-grandfather met Mr. LaBelle, made a deal with him
on a ship coming from Europe to America, and they played a game.
Yep. And if the grandfather had won, well, I can't remember the exact deal behind it.
Basically, they would be rich and powerful, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
Or all their dreams would come true or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And all of it is because of this box. You get this box, they pass it around. I like how the only one who really checks it out is Grace because she doesn't know what it is. Everybody else is like, get this fucking thing away from me.
Yeah.
I don't like this thing. And pretty much the whole thing is they put a blank card into the box. They kind of push it in, they pull it out, and it gives you a game. And I like how the other the others, was it Fitch?
Charity
And
Charity. Fitch.
Yeah, they talk about what they got. Like one of them got checkers and one of them got chess.
Old Maid.
Or Old Maid, right. What the fuck is Old Maid?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
and then chess. And so Grace does it and she pulls out hide and seek. And at first, and she's just like, "Oh, cool! So hide and seek, that's fun. So how does this all work?" And everyone around the table's like, "Fuck."
So tell me, this house isn't the most amazing place to play hide and seek, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. This
so many
house
hidey
is another
holes.
character. And that's what I love about this is the fact that it's like you have all these amazing characters, but you also have the house that is another character. Because of the fact of like you literally go in every crevice of this place, outside.
I love that.
Outside.
That's
it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I also love how it would have been so easy to name this movie Hide and Seek, and they chose to name it Ready or Not.
Yeah.
Like it would have been just the easiest choice to say we're just going to name it Hide and Seek.
So there was
but we're going to name it Ready or Not.
I think there was a horror movie in the early 2000s with Robert De Niro and Dakota Fanning that was called Hide and Seek.
Oh yeah,
so they
definitely. Oh no, but there's another movie called Ready or Not too. So I mean,
yeah, no, you're
right. I kind of liked how they they could have easily named it this, of course, and they chose to name it something like yes, they still we still hear the term Ready or Not, like Ready or Not, Here I Come.
Yeah,
but I like that they didn't go for the easy grab of naming it Hide and Seek.
Well, too, I feel like you can use that in different dimensions of the movie. Like, are you ready to marry him or not?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you ready to become a part of this family or not? Like, there's a lot more you can go with it. So it's good.
So yeah, it's not good.
Not good for Grace.
Not good for Grace at all.
What did you think of the music? So
it is my favorite fucking
it's
song.
So good. I was just about to get to
written.
it because you have the conversation between Grace and the father about like what's going to happen. She's like, "So what happens? Do I hide?" And you see, well, like you're the new addition to the family, so you go hide.
Yeah,
and then we'll come get you. And yeah, it's the whole thing where they, she just thinks it's a game. Like she just thinks it's harmless fun. So she,
her douchebag husband hasn't prepped her properly.
Yeah. So she wanders through and tries to find a spot. And then you see all the entire family like gearing up, except for Alex. He's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
And that song, the Run, Run, Run. Oh god,
yeah,
it's so creepy.
I love it.
Great. The old ass record.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it on like a party playlist and just jam out to that shit. I love that.
What's the name of that song? Is it
Run,
called
Run, Run? It's time to run and hide. I love it.
God,
what is the name of that
good.
song? Is it called Hide and Seek?
I love it.
I think it's called.
It's just called Hide and Seek. I think it's called Hide and Seek.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. And I love how he gives all the people in the family like the old weapons because they don't use the cameras. He says that
traditional,
tradition.
Yeah.
Why do you think
they
turned the cameras off, but they didn't put those awful masks on?
Well, he says it later in the movie. He says it later in the movie. He says like, "Oh, that was Dad's idea. It was the '80s." Like
he's like, "Thank God we don't have to wear those stupid masks."
Yeah.
Because later Aunt Helene says something like, "Pick and choose, pick and choose." Like we can't, but they all have to use like crossbows and hunting rifles. It's like crazy.
What the fuck? What? I don't even know how to use this.
Yeah,
give Emily the tiny gun.
The tiny gun.
The tiny.
And unfortunately,
she can't even handle that.
Yeah, she does cause the most chaos with that tiny gun.
Oh,
that little
she
pepper
causes
box.
the most chaos in this entire movie.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love her.
But with the mask, the kid wore it when they first showed up, and Daniel was freaking out, like because he saw the kid in the mask. He's like, "Take that off,"
Yeah,
because he knew what it was.
Yeah,
So
because they were the two kids from the beginning, basically.
Yeah. So she gets 100 seconds to hide, and that's the song. Kind of is the duration of the song is how long she gets to hide because it has the countdown at the end, which is it's so good. So Grace hides in a dumbwaiter. And so once everything is all set to go, everybody leaves except they have Charity outside the room to watch Alex because they don't want Alex to interfere with either trying to get Grace out of there or whatever, or try to hide her. Which, I mean, it's good that he does find her because then she finds out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say under really shitty circumstances.
Oh
because
yeah, absolutely.
That one, like he's trying to tell her, and then that fucking one lady gets shot in the damn head while in the room they're in.
Poor lady.
The maids or the
nannies.
Well, we find out later that I think they're strippers that were hired to be nannies for the night.
Yeah, I think you're right because they hired me because they liked my dancing. That's like
they liked the way I danced. And then all the men always say like, "Oh, she was my favorite." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, I mean, they're scummy rich people, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes. Money pays for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That fucking line right in front of his wife, who's coked out of her mind.
Yeah, she don't care.
So Alex,
I'm sure she doesn't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
She probably gets
she
him
probably doesn't even know what's
her.
happening. She's so fucking high. Like,
She's feeling real good.
Cocaine.
Oh, love it.
So Alex takes a back route because no one knew that these doors existed. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know if they really thought about or planned that because there's all these little like hidey hole or like secret compartments in the house. It's an old house, so there's going to be servants passageways is what because you know in old times you didn't want to see the help.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think it is weird that they were like, you're going to stay here, but don't. But I guess we forgot about the secret passageways throughout the house.
Well, wasn't
even though he hasn't
Charity?
lived there for like 20 years probably, and he still knows where they all are. So it's like.
Well, wasn't Charity supposed to like watch him or guard him or something?
He was supposed to guard
watch
the door.
She was outside the room just watching the door. Like, you guys don't know that there's doors in there. He could just kind of see it.
Yeah. They didn't plan properly.
Because she goes into the room and she's like, Alex, and she knows he's gone. She's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You mentioned, I don't know where does this movie like in the film universe? Where does this movie take place? Do they mention
year?
No, where? Like in the United States?
They never say.
No. Okay. Well,
I kind of always thought it was supposed to be like because they're a gaming family, it's loosely based off Milton Bradley, I think. Yeah. And so I always kind of thought it was either like New York, like a New York heritage home, or like California, like the Hearst Castle or something like that. That's kind of always what I thought, but technically it was all filmed in Canada, so.
Well, the reason I asked this is you guys were talking about like the servant passages and stuff, which you know, at the time a lot of these were used where the servants were primarily people of color, and they obviously didn't want them to be seen. That's why these passages existed. Blah 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 blah. But as time went on, these passages still exist, so it's not surprised a lot of people probably forgot they're not there. And where was it Daniel? What's the other guy?
Well, Daniel and Alex
grew up there, so kids they naturally be curious and everything, and nobody else is going to give a shit because they're never going to use it. So that's probably why nobody else remembered it. I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, it's weird though because before all this happens, when Daniel is that which one's the husband?
Adam Brody
Alex?
is Daniel and Alex is
Alex is the husband.
When Alex and Grace are in their room and they're about to like have sex and then they get spooked by Aunt Helene, she has come out of one of those holes, one of those passageways, and he says to Grace like, "They're servants' quarters. They run all through the house." So Aunt Helene knows they're there. Yep. So it is kind of surprising that they just like left Alex in a room and like.
Yeah, that's true. That's
especially a newer person to the family, because you don't know how long Charity has been married.
Yeah,
you know, a part of the family, so she may not know that these exist.
That's true. But the dad should have known. I feel like the dad should have known and been like, maybe stay in the room with him.
The original people should have known that. Hey, you know.
I mean,
keep an eye on him.
This family is very unprepared for the situation that is happening in this entire movie, so it's not that surprising.
Well, so far up their own asses, it's no surprise.
Finch has got the crossbow, and he's bitching about it. He's like, I don't even know how to use this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be my weapon of choice, was the crossbow.
A crossbow.
So
Yeah. I don't know why. I just would feel the best with that one.
Because it's not as intimate. It's further away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is when Finch is like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I got a nervous stomach. And you find out that he's just going to the bathroom so he could watch YouTube videos on how to use a crossbow.
Right.
So
Which
good.
those are the writers
Yeah.
in that YouTube
nice.
video.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Those are the writers of the movie. Yeah, those are the writers of the movie.
That's hysterical.
So funny.
Yeah.
So Grace is in her hiding spot and she's talking to herself. She's
Mhm.
like, "Hey, Grace, what are you doing on your wedding?" "Oh, just hiding in a dumbwaiter."
Right.
And she gets so bored, she's just like, "Yeah, fuck this. Game's over. I'm gonna get out and try to find somebody." And she gets out and kind of wanders around, and then you go to where the kids are sleeping, and one of the girls fell asleep. She wakes up, one of the kids are gone. You're like, "Oh darn."
Georgie.
And yeah, and and so the Clara, you find out is her name, she goes to search for him. And during all this, Alex finds Grace and they hide, and she's still in the motion of like, "Oh, this is just a game. It's fine." So
Mhm.
they hide behind a bed, and that's when Clara walks into the room and is calling for Georgie. And then she turns around to start to walk out, and she gets blasted in the face.
Mhm.
In
all-
the face.
And all you hear is Emily go, I got her. Come on, everybody." And she's walking like, "What the fuck?" Because they're like, "We just murdered someone. We don't know."
I like how they say, "Does it look like she's wearing a
Like,
wedding
like-
dress?"
Yeah.
Emily.
She's wearing-
The dad's just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Oh my god!
Clearly,
She's always
she
like, "I
doesn't know
don't
her
know
killer."
what I'm doing.
sorry, Dad.
Daddy, I'm so sorry."
Daddy. Oh my god.
Oh, it's so great. So Grace
So she doesn't care at this point. She takes a bump in the room and it's all over
Takes
her
a
face.
bump.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
literally like,
It's like
"Ah." She's like hyping herself up in
and
the
they
mirror.
all say like, "Well, does the help count? Did we fulfill our need?
God.
Like we've killed somebody."
Because it's asked like 3 times, and Ahley's like,
Yeah,
"Why do you
yes.
guys keep asking this question?" It's no.
So funny.
Oh god. So yeah, Grace is terrified. She's just like, "What the fuck did I just see?" And
it's the gurgling that's coming from this
Oh,
girl.
my God.
Oh, it's
Well,
awful.
that's the second.
No.
She does too, but the second one is.
the second
But,
one is the
like,
funny
it-
gurgle.
Because she's
yeah.
still like alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It lingers on that sound.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the father and the aunt. And I love how the gaming still goes, it's a thread through the entire movie. Because when they go to pick up the girl, the dad says head or tails, and he flips a coin, like which side do you take? So the gaming still goes through the entire movie, which I
Yeah.
love. I love that common thread of that through the entire movie.
They probably can't help themselves. It's just their norm. Everything
Yeah,
is made into a game.
and earlier when they talk about like how they own 4 professional sports teams, I'm like, what professional sports teams do you think this fucked up family owns?
Football and basketball, maybe a baseball team.
Maybe a baseball team.
I don't know.
He's very proud of it. He's like 4 professional sports teams. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
which ones? Which ones? I'm trying to think.
So Alex brings Grace to one of like the back hallways of the house
Mhm.
and explains to her everything about
Yeah.
the fact that when anyone enters the family, they have to play this game. And if you unfortunately pulled the worst card you could possibly pull, and yeah, we pretty much the family. So he was one of those that goes, the family thinks that they have to kill you before is it
Mhm.
sunrise or
Mhm.
we all die, like the entire family
Yeah.
dies. And she's just like, "What the fuck? You could have told me this." He's like, "Well, if I told you, you would have left." Like, well, that makes you a douchebag. Alex.
Yeah. But also, if you refuse to play, you die.
Mhm.
And he says, like, it happened to my cousin Rachel. It happened to my great uncle. They didn't play. They died the next day.
Mhm.
So that does kind of reinforce that, okay, maybe there's something because these other people didn't play and they died. But
Yeah.
it also could just be a coincidence.
because she says something about eloping. And
Yeah.
he's like, you can't.
No, you have to marry here at the house.
They have to marry here, and they have to play the game. Yeah.
So they decide to separate. Grace modifies her dress because she's like trying to run and she can't because she keeps getting caught up on the dress. And
she puts on her yellow Converse.
Yep, she puts on the Converse. She's ready to go. She chooses. I like how Alex tells her where to go, but when she gets to the end of the hallway, there's 2 doors, and she chooses the wrong door because when she goes out, it's the dad and Helene carrying the body of Clara. And they're just like, oh no, because they literally were like, "Hey, where do you think she is?" And then she pops out and they're like,
"Found her."
Daniel's like, "Found her."
And then Emily tries to shoot her again.
Yeah, the dad drops. He drops and he's like fumbling to get something, and then there comes Emily, and she's like shooting at everybody.
She comes from the opposite direction. She just starts shooting randomly, and he's like, "We need her alive for the ritual. A for center of mass. A for center of mass.
For the center of mass." I don't know what I'm doing.
What wasn't there a scene earlier, and it maybe hasn't happened yet? It's where she like freaked out and ran out, and then like she took the bump of cocaine or whatever. She's like, "Oh, I forgot my gun," and she has to like run back into the room because she keeps forgetting it, like setting it down.
Yeah,
she like looks in the mirror. She's like, "We're gonna do this." Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, she has to psych herself up, and then she can never remember the gun.
Because even later, like they joke about it, like they all know. Because even later, I think her husband says, like, "Let's get you an edible and calm you down."
Yes,
it's just like you've had too much coke.
Yep.
We need
to go the opposite direction.
Yeah,
we're gonna move on the other side of the spectrum here.
So Daniel runs into Grace in the billiard room. She's hiding, and he kind of just walks in, kind of casually, sees her, doesn't make a big deal about it, but he decides to give her a little bit of a head start before he notifies the family where she is. But by the time he calls, he's like, "Oh, she's in the study. It was a study, billiard room, whatever the hell room they're in."
The study.
Okay. And
this is one of my favorite scenes. I don't know why. I love their conversation when she says like nothing's gonna, and he says, I don't know why I love it. And then he just counts 1,000. You get that great cut in the film where she's running and you get the music in the background and he's counting like 1,000, 2 1,000. Then he screams and then his stupid wife comes in. She's like, you let her get away.
Yeah.
Oh, well, sorry. Like, he doesn't give a shit, but he does give a shit. Like, it's kind of tough for him. It's very tough for him.
Is this where she's like, the wife is like, can't you pretend to care?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you find out that she literally married him because he was rich. Because she grew up poor. Or at least that's kind of the perception you get from her. Because like Allie had said earlier about the whole, she lived a less privileged life before. She wasn't going back to that.
I think that's what all the women are.
Right.
I think the men pick women who come from either poverty or the foster care system or something so that they feel lucky to be in this family and will not question the fact that they have to sign their soul away to the devil.
Right.
Which is basically what's going to happen. I mean, so all of the women, because even like Andie MacDowell, when she says like, they said the same thing about me, your blood isn't blue enough. She probably came from poverty or the wrong side of the tracks or whatever you want to say. I think they deliberately pick these people because they will not question what they have to do to be a part of this family. They will be thankful that they are even included in it. That's what I always.
They come from that proverbial nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like Charity says, like, you know what I came from. I will never go back to that. So she will do anything to keep this life. Whereas Grace, no. She just wants love. She just wants a family. She doesn't care about any of the other stuff. So for her, it's a little bit different. But I think they deliberately seek out these people who are less than, we'll say.
Yep. So the rest of the family shows up and they have a little chat. And that's when one of the other like girls who I guess is the help or whatever she comes in. Does she like announce like where she saw Grace?
Yeah.
And then Emily shoots her with a crossbow in the fucking eye.
Yeah, because I take the gun from her, give her the crossbow.
Yeah.
Emily does it again.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
And
This is like, why are they still giving her weapons? Because Fitch gives it to her.
yeah, and she just shoots it. I don't even think she like actually aims. She just accidentally misfires, and just a perfect shot right in the eye. And
She's like,
Right,
here,
yeah.
I don't
Like,
want this. You take it.
oh, why do we keep giving her weapons? Take it away, Daddy. I'm so sorry.
She says, "Why does this keep happening to me?"
Like,
Not the people you've killed. Don't feel bad about
Oh,
that.
of course, that's all I care about.
And
Don't feel bad about that.
This is what I think the second or third time that they say about, oh, does the help count? And
Yes.
he's like, stop asking that question. No. And as she's trying to say that, all I hear is like gurgling, and you're like, oh no. And then Helene just gets sick of it. She goes over with her big axe and just fucking chops her head off.
Decapitates her.
Jesus.
she's trying, because Aunt Helene's trying to talk, and you just hear her gurgling every time she does talk.
Yes.
Oh, so they the dad,
Everyone's like, "What the fuck, Aunt Helene?" It's like, you are all trying to kill a woman. Let's not be.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Aunt Helene! I can't believe you chopped this stripper's head off. Like, they're all like shocked by it. It's like, you are all literally trying to kill your family member, new family member. You're trying to kill her, and this is shocking to you. It's
Yes.
just
Like,
like, calm down, people.
This is somebody you hired for the night. You know?
Yes, she's expendable.
She's the most serious about the game.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is
Which
hardcore.
she has every right to be.
Well, so is Tony. He's like the next most serious about it, but he's still an idiot. But she's like the most like actually not fuck around, not be competent for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look
he kind
what
of starts to
happened to
change
her.
his way when he realizes like, oh shit, this is getting really close, too close for comfort, where we can't get her, and it's only an hour or so left until sunrise.
She's fighting.
Yeah, and that's when he decides, oh fuck tradition, we're gonna use the cameras. You know, I say, how was it my fault that back when Granddaddy did this, there was no cameras? That's what I say. That's what I say when you got like somebody like an older gentleman or anybody who's elderly who's like, back in my day we did all this because we didn't have TVs. I'm like, well, if you had TVs you'd be doing the same shit we were doing. So shut it, Grandpa.
Guess what, Grandpa? This isn't your day.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So they turn on the cameras.
Mm-hmm. Grace Rambo's up. She gets a gun, some ammo. She looks at herself in the mirror.
Looks so cool.
Yep.
She's like, oh shit.
She hides in this like little kitchen, and the butler's there, Stevens. And
I love Stevens.
she's trying to stay quiet, but she's also trying to load the gun because she was gonna shoot him, but it didn't have any, like she didn't load it first. And then she loads it and then tries to shoot him, and it doesn't go off, and he turns around and is like, oh, this all show, it's nothing, none of it's real.
The ammunition's for show.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, dude.
But I love him because he's obsessed with the 1812 overture or whatever. Like, he is so obsessed with that. I love it, and he gets into it.
Oh yeah.
I love when he sings it, and her face is like, okay.
Shit, I was not expecting this.
It's bad enough I'm being chased. Now I have to listen to this fucking shit.
Yeah.
So Alex turns on the cameras because that's, I guess, the only way he can unlock the doors, or he's trying to unlock the doors. He turns on the cameras, and the others notice that the cameras are on because the dad was like, well, we got to use the cameras. And they're like, well, they're already on, so we just got to go to the room. And that's when they know, oh, fuck, Alex is in there, and he's probably not doing things we want him to do.
Mm-hmm.
So Grace battles Stevens. She smashes the boiling water over his face, which is awful.
You know that had to hurt.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. Alex, the dad and Daniel break into the camera room, and they kind of have a scuffle. Alex almost kills his dad, but then he gets knocked out. He kind of gives up, and then they knock him out. And this is when we get the great the third girl, the third stripper / help / whatever the fuck these girls are. She gets killed. Grace kills her. This is all Grace's fault. This was Grace's fault.
That's where we find out what they are.
Yeah.
Because she's in the dumbwaiter, and Grace finds her, and she's like, I don't know what I'm doing here, Mr. Mr. Ladoma said just likes the way I dance, and it's like, oh, you guys are strippers. Okay,
Right.
hired to take care of the children.
Yeah.
No offense to sex workers. Sex workers work.
No.
But hiring random strippers to take care of your children is a little sus. And also to be random,
not who I would pick for my kids.
and also to be random party servers. We're not sure. Yeah,
more party favors.
Party favors.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Grace is trying to get in there. She needs to hide because she's being hunted. This Dora is not being hunted, so she's trying to get her out. Unfortunately, Grace accidentally hits the button to send the dumbwaiter down, which then closes the door, which pins Dora and then ends up crushing her.
Oh, just the sound effects of all of
just
it.
The crunching.
Yes.
Look,
watching there's so much gurgling.
Yeah.
Coming from watching a lot of Halloween movies and watching Halloween H2O, dumbwaiters are never a good choice for an escape plan.
No, not the kid from Jumanji.
Yes, the kid from Jumanji, which I watched today too. You are always going to lose a limb or your entire life in a dumbwaiter. It's just never a good chance. It's never a good plan.
Not a great place to hide.
So we grew up. Well, I did. I'm from Central Georgia, East Tennessee. So I always grew up knowing what the Biltmore House was.
Oh, yeah.
And we grew up going there about every year. My grandmother sold home interiors. If you've ever heard of that, it was something from when I was a kid, the 80s. It was interior decorating, paintings. She did a lot of shows where she would sell this stuff. So she would get cheap tickets to the Biltmore House, and they have dumbwaiters. And I always had this irrational fear as a kid going into this house and like, somebody's going to end up getting stuck in one of those. And then you see horror movies as I got older. I'm like, see, told you.
Yep.
If a house has a dumbwaiter in it, it's haunted. Absolutely.
Someone died in irrational fear. I'm like, this actually is good. It's
in Pet Sematary too. I mean, there's just way too many like faulty dumbwaiters in horror movies. Yeah. It's not really for people either. It's supposed to be for like food and stuff.
Yes, it's for food, not people.
Haunting of Hill House. Have you guys seen, everybody here seen Haunting of Hill House? I can't talk. Yes. Words are hard. The dumbwaiter scenes in that show are terrifying.
Yes.
I'm like, see, it wasn't so irrational as a kid.
No.
Oh God.
It's a bad mode of transportation. It's why they don't make them anymore.
Yes.
Thank God for that.
And none of these in this house were electric. It was all, by hand.
Ones,
yeah.
So I'm like, somebody's gonna end up dead.
So you find out that Helene was the bride from the beginning of this movie. She's the one whose husband got fucking arrowed a few times. But she also talks about how, like, if she had to, if things went a different way, that she would have killed him to make sure that the family survived. And so that's why she's so serious about this, because she knows like what would happen if they didn't finish the ritual.
Yeah. Because
she also lost someone that she said she genuinely loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. The husband. I mean, I'm sure it was horrible to do that. Yeah, but they take Alex and they like handcuff him to the bed upstairs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And while they're talking about this, Grace is outside and she kind of hears it. And I think Aunt Helene says something like, he needs to take his place as the head of this family. Like, you never should have let him leave. And he's the only one who's ever seen Mr. LaBelle in his chair. Yes. That's what she says.
Yep.
Yeah. That he is, that he's the one that could lead this house, not run from it. Lead the family or something, not run from it.
Yeah.
So Grace gets outside and she runs for her damn life. And she makes it to a stable full of goats. And she's hiding because
this whole scene.
She's hiding. She hears somebody coming because she sees the flashlight shining. And who would it be? One of these.
Fucking kid.
The fucking kid.
Fucking
Georgie.
And what does he do? He's like, "Hey, Georgie, hey, what's going on?" And he just pulls up freaking Emily's little gun and shoots her right in the hand.
Right in the freaking hand.
Oh
Makes
my
a
God.
hole.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have gone through like that? Like,
Yeah.
it was a pretty
Your
big
hands-
hole.
Your hand's not.
Yeah,
very
but that
thick.
was like an old school, like fucking
a-
Three Musketeers gun that had like a huge bullet in it. It probably, I would say it did go. It would have gone through her hand. Yeah,
Oh, the bullet was so big, though.
yeah.
I know that was a very large hole.
That's what I was trying to figure out when I was watching, because it's an old pepper box, and normally pepper boxes they were designed for concealment or for a lady to carry, because they're usually a smaller caliber round. It's just individual barrels. Every time you pull the trigger, it hits a different chamber. That's what that took me back a little bit. I was like, I don't know if that would have never done, because it's usually smaller calibers, but I bought it for the movie. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
We also have a
"Look
weapons
in there."
and car expert like you guys do.
Not expert.
Oh,
Dan
like we
is-
do. You're like our Guido.
Yeah.
I'm like a fan.
Just don't ask him what color the car is, because he won't know.
No,
that, but he'll know
fuck.
exactly what
You'll
make
know
and
what it
model
is. Yeah.
We'll be sitting there watching movies. He's like, "Oh, look at that car,"
Yep.
and he'll tell me exactly what it is, and I'm like,
Yep. If you ask me what it was
Watching
2 seconds later, I'd forget what color it was, though.
So Grace slaps the shit out of freaking Georgie and knocks him the fuck out.
Fucking Georgie.
The
She
best.
gets it's so God. I listen.
like I don't like violence
condone-
against kids. Yes,
These
because
kids
we have
deserved it.
kids.
They were little
So
The kid sucks.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing.
She gets spooked by a goat, which then knocks her into this pit of just rotting animals and people. There's human
Yeah.
skeletons down there, which is delightful. She's covered in just everything.
He gets covered in
She's
stuff.
throwing up. Like, I hate when they show
Ugh.
people throwing up. It's the worst.
Same.
Immediately she is covered in like goop, and I'm like, God, that happened real fast, yo. Like
Like,
you
I'm
are
so
just.
glad I was writing notes at this time.
It's like
and
you
was not
rolled
looking.
in. Like, it's
It's
so
so
disgusting. Like her
gross.
hair, like everything is covered in goop, and I'm like, oh God.
And you know that with that
You know what's
wound
gonna
in her
happen.
hand, it's gonna get infected. It's
Oh,
gotta get
absol-
infected.
absolutely.
with
Oh,
all
You
yeah.
that
just
shit
also
that's
know
on
that
there.
what's going to happen next is going to happen next.
Oh!
Like you just know it's going to happen.
They like, here's the nail.
It's like
Yeah.
that scene.
She has a hole in her
It's
hand.
so awful.
It's
What's
the
gonna
scene in
happen?
A Quiet Place where you're like, she's gonna
No.
step on that nail at some point.
Oh,
It's the scene in
God.
Home Alone. He's
And it's
gonna
like-
step on that nail.
They're
Ugh.
intentionally focusing in on that nail. I'm like,
Yeah.
shit.
And you know it's of course the hand that she gets shot in, so it goes like right in the hole. and
Through
she's
the hole.
screaming and oh god.
Her goat scream.
Yep.
All I could
Yeah.
think of was like how strong her fingers are on that other hand.
She's doing
It's
some
a bloody hand,
Oh,
and she's got
absolutely.
Just
four
when she
fingers
pulls
on
her, I'm
that
just
leg.
thinking,
Yeah.
oh God.
That
Oh,
was amazing.
the
She's so
worst.
I
strong.
know it has
The worst.
Very good upper body strength there.
Such
Amazing.
good. Yeah.
I love when she
Ugh.
gets out though and she like rips a piece of her dress. She wraps her hand. She looks towards George. She's unconscious body. She's like, you little fucker.
Little
Yep.
fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Uh.
she's running across the lawn and Chastity sees her. Or Charity. I had Chastity in my notes. Charity sees her
Charity.
and I was like, I got you. And blatantly just misses completely. Like nowhere near her. She's like, fuck.
Nowhere.
It was hysterical. Which I think she killed like a bird or some kind
Yeah,
of
I
wild
heard
animal.
it
in the
something
tree.
make a noise.
Oh Lord, it's so good.
Yeah.
Grace makes it to the front gate and she can't get out, but she sees a car coming, so she improvises. She sees that there's like a loose piece of the gate that she pulls
Oh.
apart, and then you get the scene where she's squeezing her way through the gate and she's just tearing her back up, and you're like, oh, the
That was
Like,
worse for me than the
pain.
hand.
Like,
that
why
was
do they
worse.
have to keep focusing in like that close on her?
Oh,
They did
You
a
know
good
it's
job.
happening.
It was a good scene.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but you know it's happening. Like
Just
she's
that-
already
yeah.
broke the steel or whatever it's made out of, and you know it's happening. But it's like, why do they have to keep focusing? Because they focus
guys-
on the car, and then they
the
focus on her
directors
back, and then they
love
focus
Yeah.
on her
focusing
face, and
really
it's like,
close to some awkward kills because there's
It
a
was-
kill and scream that's very similar.
It was worse for me
mm.
than the hand. Like that metal going against her back. I was like, every time I watch it, I'm like, I can't watch it. Like I
Yeah.
hate watching cuts like that. I hate it. It's
At
so, it looks
least the
so
hand-
painful.
Oh gosh, yes, but you know the hand. It was fast. It was through and through.
The hand was
It was
fast.
fast. This is slow and agonizing.
This is her dragging her skin against like metal, and it's just like, oh god. And they just keep,
Hopefully
like you said, they focus in on it.
You know she's got its infection has already started because she was in the pit with all the
goat pit.
I mean, you even saw the dude from the beginning. He was in there too.
Oh, he was.
Yep.
So he's been rotten. There. He's been rotten for a long time.
It's been 30 years.
Yeah.
So, not
30 years. Yeah.
So she gets out and she tries to flag down the car, and the guy driving the car is one of the directors.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least it's his voice. You never actually see someone.
Yeah, I think it's just his voice. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then she says a lot of nice words.
Oh,
I love her string of words.
Yeah, it's great. And then she runs.
Dick
to the
liquor
woods.
is always a great one.
Dick liquor.
You don't hear it too often.
No, that's a very old school insult.
Yes.
Yeah. That whole scene of her just yelling all those just random, almost incoherent obscenities, just like just felt so legit. I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I would have done the same exact thing. I say all those words when I stub my toe. My kids aren't around when I do it, but
yes.
So yeah, Stevens is on her tail, so she books it into the woods. The father is not very happy because for one, Daniel thinks this is all a joke. And two, they still can't get her. And it's getting awfully close. And so this is when he kind of tells a little bit of like the backstory too, where he, the fact of like, you had to make a deal. Why couldn't you? Oh God, I can't remember exactly what he says. One of the things he says is you don't fuck Mr. LaBelle. Mr. LaBelle fucks you.
Fucks you. Yeah.
I can't remember what he says though when he he's drinking and he looks at the painting of his great grandfather and he says like, why couldn't you make a deal for something else? Or I couldn't remember the exact quote. But Emily and Daniel get sent on cleanup duty because they got to get rid of all of the bodies of all the girls that got killed. Most of them by Emily. And
let's go dump them in the goat pit.
Yep. And when they go to the stables to get rid of them in the goat pit, they have the conversation of like, Daniel's like, our family deserves to die. Like, that's why I don't care. Because I feel like, if this is real, we all deserve to die. And she's like, well, my kids don't. And that's kind of where you feel like a switch went off in his head. Like, okay, maybe I should actually take this a little serious just in case it is real. Stevens catches up with Grace and incapacitates her. She knocks him out. She steals the car. She didn't know. So Samara Weaving doesn't drive. She doesn't have a driver's license. So they had to just pretend, like, make it look like she was driving the car. It's not actually. Which is pretty funny.
But also in the previous scene with the goat pit, when they find Georgie, and
that's right,
Emily hugs him, and he says, "Well, I saw the lady and I shot her."
Because that's what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, and Emily says. Yeah. Or someone says, like, why did you do that? He's like, well, that's what everyone else is doing. And Emily says, I'm so proud of you, which is what Andie MacDowell's character said to Daniel in the first part of the movie when he's a little boy. Mm-hmm. When he said, when Helene's husband says, like, help me, Daniel. And Daniel says, he's in here. And then all the family comes in and shoots him. You hear Andie MacDowell's character say, I'm so proud of you, Daniel. And she does the same thing to Georgie in the goat pit. She says, like, I'm so proud of you, Georgie, that you did that. So it's a continuation of this disgusting behavior.
It's just blows. Yeah, perpetuating it.
The family sucks.
Major.
Yeah, you thought that she was kind of a good member of the family, and maybe she wasn't like them
until.
I felt like maybe she cared a little bit about the girlfriend or the new wife. Grace. But then when she said that, Grace. And then she said that, I was like, oh, you're such a bitch. You're just as bad as everybody else.
Mm-hmm. She sucks.
She sucks.
Grace is in the car and she uses like the OnStar function on it.
Oh, this was so dumb.
This sucks.
I was so mad at her.
Fuck you, Justin.
I love this scene.
You piece of shit. Who
still has that?
Yeah.
Rich people.
Yeah.
Rich people.
It would take longer than that for that vehicle to be reported stolen.
Yeah, who reported the vehicle stolen?
I'm assuming it was
Steven.
I mean, yeah, he does kind of get up right after she drives away, but like, and there's a function to just turn the car off. Like what? All right,
they all run on computer systems now. I mean, yeah,
that was wild.
I have OnStar. I know they can see where you are, but I don't think they can turn your vehicle.
It wouldn't work on that model of car. It's a 2003 Lincoln. It wouldn't work. It's the same thing we talked about in Terminator 3. It was because they use Crown Vics. Lincoln's, it's the same fucking car, just fancier. It doesn't have drive-by-wire or any of that shit. Like, it wouldn't work that way. Unless there was some external kill switch built into it, which they can do. It's a lot harder on the older vehicles to just have to cut it off.
They have that money. It's not.
Yeah.
Why would that be like your first thing you go to? Like, the kill switch.
I think it's more supposed to show like the difference between the higher class and the lower class. It's more like, oh, we'll just shut your car down.
It's the fact that I feel that they're paying these people. Like, it's the same person that's going to answer every single time.
Right. Like
he's in their pocket.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely like a list of people. Like, if these people call, you do this.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's not said person in the family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Regardless, do this.
Yeah.
No, dude, that scene's great. By the way, she's just on the phone with him. It's like, I need you to help me. I need you. What's the guy's name?
Justin.
Justin. I need you to help me. Justin, fuck you.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
Is there anything else can help you with?
I just love how he's like, okay, have a good day.
Oh, it's so good.
But it's great because it's one of those things where you're like, why would she call you if she stole the car to ask for help? For you to call the cops?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense. So that's where I kind of feel like Angela's theory kind of makes sense. Like, this person doesn't actually work for this. If they work for the London Mosses, and yeah, but that's so great. Hey, Justin,
I've been watching way too much Riverdale.
Customer service.
I've been watching way too much Riverdale the last couple of days. Everybody's in everybody's pocket, so it's like,
yep,
you don't trust anybody.
So, because the car got turned off, Stevens catches up and tranks her. The family
catches up way too fast.
Agreed.
Like, she's
T1000 running.
Yeah.
She's been driving straight down this road for quite a while at a high speed.
Yeah.
He caught up to her very fast after being, choked out.
Choked out, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how is he not dead yet?
He's like a villain in Home Alone. He's like Joe Pesci. He just nothing gets him.
Yeah.
He's always back for more.
Yeah.
This is a great scene though, where they are in the car and Stevens calls the father to tell him that he's got her, and of course he's blaring his music, and they're watching on the camera.
Overture.
They're like, "Turn it down, Stevens! Turn it down
behind you!"
Just she fucking kicks him in the head a few times.
They've got their phones up and the phone up, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
doing the whole thing."
After the car crashes, the father just was like, "What the fuck?"
And it's all in slow motion and shit.
And they both like pass out, and they're just like, "Woo!" I love it. It's so good.
It's great. It's great.
Daniel catches up with Grace after she gets out of the car, and this is where you kind of get the notion that he changed his mind and he's taking this serious, and he wants to make sure the ritual is done right, because certain people don't deserve to die, even if he feels most of them do. So he knocks her out, and the dad just shows up out of the fucking shadows.
Yeah, see, they got there real fast.
Yeah,
I was
like, the fuck you come from?
Like, did they know where they were going to crash?
The butler getting to the car didn't bother me. Them getting that crash scene really fast bothered me. I was like, wow, they got there fast. Maybe there's underground tunnels in this house too. Who knows?
Maybe.
That's a possibility.
That is very. So Alex and his mom have a chat about, she wants him to come home and, be around more. She's like, I don't understand why you left. Well, when we're made to do goat sacrifices all the time, it's not really something I want to stick around and keep doing.
Yeah, that made me wonder, and I still when I watch this movie, because I do watch it way too much, it does make me wonder that if she hadn't pulled the hide and seek card, let's just say she pulled checkers, okay? Is there still a ceremony for her to be in the family? It kind of, because like the other people in the family, Charity and Finch, they know what they have to do. So is there a ceremony after they play a game that's not, let's say, hide and seek, where they're a part of the family? It doesn't. It can't just be the game. It has to be something else.
You need a short of like somebody doing a normal game.
Well, I would assume they have to pledge themselves to Mr. LaBelle.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there has to be some sort of ceremony.
Like they all have to be aware of this.
Yes, because they all know. So there has to be some sort of ceremony, and she still would have to agree to that. And in my opinion, I don't think Grace ever would. No. Like, even if she picked another card that wasn't hide and seek, would she say like, "Oh yeah, totally, I'll pledge my soul to Mr. LaBelle and be fine with this"? No, I don't think she would. But they don't ever like kind of tackle that. And I always kind of wonder that in my head when I watch this movie.
Yeah,
I feel like that makes perfect sense though, because of what we see at the very end. I mean, how would that happen to people that are married
way too comfortable with the scenario?
This
is fine.
Yeah,
this isn't weird at all.
And they're not part of the bloodline, so
so they know.
So the mom tells a story about the ritual to the kids, which is just weird.
Yes.
And, this is where you get the line, "Don't be a bitch, Fitch."
Yes.
Yes.
I want to say one more thing when you're talking about when Alex is talking to his mom. And this is the whole thing for me. It's don't mind that. It's the literally this is indoctrination, as some of you have mentioned earlier, because when he's talking about sacrificing the goats, Alex says the problem is it felt normal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're raised for it to be that way, and that's what you're told to do when everybody else does it, then it is perceived as normal, be it sacrificing goats, abuse, theft, any of that stuff. So that's a big part of the story, which I thought was cool. Like, of course, they've dotted on it here and there, but this is kind of like your big, like, all right, here's the rest of it. Kind of how, the whole family mentality of this show works and how it can manipulate people to do horrible things, but you see everybody else doing it, it's like, well, maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So, that's
totally true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So the ritual begins as Grace is strapped to a table and the family chants in Latin,
"Hail Satan!"
And as they pass around the chalice full of something, it gets laced.
That tastes good.
It gets laced with hydrochloric acid. Yikes. And they all start like puking up blood, and you're like, oh shit, is this how everyone's gonna die? No, this is just a minor setback, everybody. Clearly hydrochloric acid, swallowing it, it's just a minor, it's fine.
No,
we're okay.
He said it's not enough to kill him, it's just enough to make him shit funny for a couple of days.
That's right. He does say that, yeah.
Daniel is like secret MVP of this movie.
Yeah, this is where you find out that Daniel, another twist, he's actually wants to save Grace. He tries to get her out, and Charity kind of shows up and ends up shooting him. And then Grace beats the shit out of her.
Beats the shit out of the mom?
Beats the shit out of
Charity.
Mom. What happens to Charity?
Doesn't Charity get knocked out by Grace, and then Grace moves on and then runs into the mom?
No,
well, Grace says something to Charity because she shoots her husband, Daniel.
She shoots Daniel. Yep. Grace and Daniel tries to get Grace out, and then Charity comes in and basically says, like, you care more about her than you care about me. You didn't give a shit about me having to do this, having to pledge my soul to Mr. LaBelle, but you want to save her.
Right.
Which, again, is I feel like he picked a girl he didn't really love to bring into this family for some reason. He didn't give a shit about her, but he cares about Grace more than he cares about his own wife. And then she shoots him, doesn't she? Yeah.
Right in the neck.
I swear.
Yeah.
So I swear it's Charity shoots Daniel, and then
Yes.
Grace goes up and like knocks her out, and then moves on, and she actually runs into the father next.
Yes.
Yes.
And she beats the shit out of him, which then
Yes.
she sets fire. She starts the fire in the house.
Yes.
She hits him with the lantern.
Yeah,
She
got
does.
that. He's got that lantern. Yeah.
Those old school lanterns.
This is when Alex finds Daniel's body, and he, has his emotional breakdown because him and Daniel were really close.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Grace runs into Becky, the mom, and they have their little fight. And Grace
I love this fight.
her with takes the box and just fucks her face up. Just
Brains her.
completely
Man.
destroys her
yes.
face.
Love it.
And that's when Grace and Alex finally reunite, and she is just covered in everything you could imagine. Like her hair is just natty.
She's covered in
blood
everything
and
from
guts and
beginning to end.
poop
Goats and
vomit. And,
Yeah, beginning to end.
yeah, she is just had
And
a
he says,
terrible day.
you won't be with me after this, will you? No, fucker, I won't.
No, yeah, she's like, don't touch
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, because
And-
she's like backing
Who do
away
you
every
think I
time
am?
he tries to touch
Yeah,
her.
which-
Like, I don't blame her.
Then this is when
Who do you think I
he-
am?
So this is when he determines I guess we're gonna actually do this ritual, and so he calls
I
for
feel
his
like
family.
he had his mind made up a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with all the other things that happened, it kind of like, especially the conversation with his mom, kind of casts a lot of that into doubt. So,
Mm-hmm.
So he calls for the rest of the family to come in. It's only the father and Helene left.
Emily.
At Finch and Emily and the kids. But and then they notice Becky, and they, the thing is like, they don't really want to be a part of this whole thing. So like they see Becky and they're like, oh no, like fuck. Like this, it's really emotional for them. And this is when the dad kind of like tweak, like he's fucking done. Like he's like, we got to do this right now. Like he takes it super serious. So they
Yeah.
as the house burns around them, they do they set up for the ritual again. They kind of just strap her down to like a kitchen table, and they do the whole thing. And then Alex stabs her in the chest, and nothing happens.
no, he didn't stab her in the chest.
She
Oh,
moves.
she
it
moves
up.
like the shoulder.
He moves real
Yeah.
quick.
Right.
Gets in the shoulder, gets out, and then holds
Does
him
her
back.
goat
Yeah,
scream.
does the goat
Yes.
scream?
This is where
Oh.
I said she screams like a goat.
Yes. Does her goat scream.
Taylor Swift.
And that's when Helene's like, oh no, and she opens up the curtains, and it's the sun.
Yep.
And everybody's like, okay, maybe this was all bullshit. Maybe we're
they're
we're
all
good,
like-
right? And,
Because
a
they
moment
all
to
like
think
scream
about it.
like, no.
and
That
I was
moment to
waiting
think
for
about,
some hocus pocus moment.
I kind of like the fact that the movie gives him some time to dwell. Like, maybe we shouldn't have been doing this.
yeah, maybe this was all
We're-
fucked up.
We're fine.
Yeah.
Or that whole thought that we were like, is this actually a curse? Is there really something that's going to happen? And there was a period of time where there was enough light where they could look at each other and be like, this was all fucking fake,
Yeah.
And and then Fitch is like, well, if this is all bullshit, what are we supposed to do with her? Because it's like she's a loose end. She could just go to the cops and
Yeah.
say things.
They're gonna have to kill her regardless.
And Helene goes after her with the fucking axe and just explodes.
Oh,
and
that's so
and then
good.
everyone's just like, what the fuck? And that's and then I think Fitch was the next one to blow up.
Yeah.
And
Fitch
that's
looks
when-
at the dad and goes, I guess you were right.
Yeah, and this was, and then of course, and I like this. This was kind of tasteful, where Emily takes the two kids, tries to run out. All you see is the explode. You don't see them explode. You just see. them
Yeah, you don't need to
splatter
see
all over.
9-year-olds
You don't need little
explode.
kids.
Yeah.
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 I'd be holding
As
my
much
kid
as
like,
Georgie was a
"No."
piece of shit.
Oh, God.
Weren't
Yeah.
they
Fuck
like
those kids.
picking pieces of their body parts
Oh,
off
there's,
of their
like,
faces
splatter.
and stuff? Yeah.
And
This is
Yeah.
such a good scene.
Charity, I think, is the next one to blow
Yep.
up, and then the dad, he's just like, I did everything I was supposed to do. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And he just blows up in her face. And then the last one, of course, is Alex, and Alex is trying to like plead with her and stuff like that. And she is fucking loving she is done. She is, what's her name? The final girl of Texas Chainsaw Massacre when she is in the back of the truck. And she is just, there's nothing left. She's just laughing and screaming.
She's laughing. I love it.
And she is just chuckling. She got a big smile on her face, and she's just seeing everyone blow up. Like, you gotta be like, it's one of those things like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, right? Like, this is how this is happen. This is what happens.
This is how my wedding night ends.
Yeah, and Alex is trying to plead with her, and she takes off the ring. She's like, "I want a divorce." And right as she says it, she blows up.
Yeah,
it's so
mic drop.
And she just stands there, kind of contemplating everything that just happened, and she looks over and kind of it's like the light from the fire kind of reflects in the chair.
The fireplace. The fire comes out of the fireplace and goes.
And you see Mr. LaBelle.
You see Mr. LaBelle, and he kind of just nods at her, and she just goes, "Fuck."
Exactly. It's great.
And she wanders out of the house as it's up in flames, and at first she takes
grabs the
cigarettes case, yep, and she goes out and sits on the front steps or the back steps where she got buried, and you got the people coming in, the rescue, the fire department, all that, and one of the guys comes up, he's like, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" And she just goes, "In-laws." And that's how it ends. And I'm like, what a fucking perfect ending to this perfect movie. So good.
I love how she takes the cigarette case though, because earlier she's like, "Oh, it's so pretty."
Mm-hmm.
When she first meets the mom,
she admires it.
Like,
yeah,
so good.
Full circle.
Yep.
They did point some out in the podcast, so this was not me. If you think of Mr. LaBelle's name, for those of you who didn't look into this, his name is just a
Belial.
Jumbling of letters from Belial, So
Satan.
Yeah.
Or in French, LaBelle means like a lease, like the lease. So a lot of people think like because he leases them
the money,
their fortune, and he can take it back. Yeah.
You don't hold up your end of the bargain.
I'm going to take it back. Yeah.
So the theory that I read was the reason why she didn't, like, the ritual didn't work was, one, it didn't actually pierce her heart, which I guess is what was supposed to. They're supposed to do. Or maybe just stab her.
Or kill her. I mean, I think just kill her, which they never did.
Right. And so there was a whole thing of, like, the reason, like, she didn't die and everything still happened was the fact that, like, she went into it looking for love and looking for family instead of she didn't marry to the family for money. She married in to get a family, which is not, what I guess LaBelle, like, showed her mercy. That was a theory I read. I don't know if it really makes much sense.
I don't buy that one.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah. I kind of thought it was, it's just the fact that she took off the ring and said, "I want a divorce."
Yeah, it's so good.
Because honestly, I think that if she said, "Okay, Alex, we'll stay married," I think they would have started over. And they would have been, like, they still would have had the agreement with Mr. LaBelle, but they would have been the new generation.
Right.
But the fact that she takes the ring off and says, "I want a divorce," because, like, why didn't he blow up right after his father did, you know?
Here's my...
So... I think it was that.
So the entire family's dead now. She inherits all that because she's technically married.
That's what I thought.
But there's no way that father changed the fucking will of his entire family to include this rando chick that's come in. There's no way he did that. I mean, yes.
But there's no living relatives now, and she does have a marriage certificate.
Yeah, everybody's dead.
Like, if it's like, oh, yes, it goes to Alex and... whoever he's married to, it doesn't have to be a specific name, but, like, she's technically still married to him.
Maybe.
She wouldn't inherit the curse, right?
No. I think it's broken now. It's done.
Yeah, it's all over.
Well, yeah, because at the end of it, they even say LaBelle, he likes games, a game of chance. At the end of it, she won, regardless.
Yeah.
She was the winner, so that's why he nodded to her. Like, he's acknowledged her. You have won my game.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Respect, man.
So, fuck all the losers. You're the winner.
Can we talk for a second about how they mentioned about another family that like their house went up in flames and something similar happened to them. Were there other families that had this curse?
I think there were.
Well, this
I think there were. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Allie.
I think there were other members of the family because, like, Alex says it. He says, like, if you don't play, you die. My cousin Heather and my great uncle and all these other people I never fucking met. They didn't play. They died. Okay. I think it's just extended members. I think it extends to everybody in the family.
Yeah,
like
if you're
third cousins, fourth cousins, like all these people, you know.
It was said, well, didn't they die in a fire? And the dad's like, you don't want to know how they died.
Yeah.
So he knows.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's just like extended family members. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're married into the family in any way, shape, or form, you have the curse and you have to abide by the rules. And like you said, if you don't play, you suffer the same fate that everybody else did. You're technically the loser because you didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it. That is ready or not. Do we have anything we want to add before we get into our end of show rigmarole here? You guys have anything to add about this movie?
No, go watch it. Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Love it.
Definitely worth it.
We'll say the Converse, the Converse that she wore had to be custom painted because Converse doesn't make yellow Converse anymore.
I mean, I was in it right then because I like Converse.
They had to get a white pair and dye them yellow because Converse doesn't make yellow anymore.
Worth it.
Oh, what about how many wedding dresses there were?
17 different versions. Yep.
Damn.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Wedding dresses are not easy to make either.
Also, hers is like a bustier underneath like a lace thing. That must have been so uncomfortable to wear.
And there's so many layers on the bottom too.
Oh, the tulle.
What she ripped through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how many layers that was, but it was a lot.
So many. I just wouldn't have wanted to wear that like strapless bustier top all night. I would have been like, no.
I guess you'd be like,
yeah. I was like, damn. I don't remember seeing her fix herself at all. Like throughout the entire movie. Like I've seen many women wearing those type of things, and they're always fucking.
I know. I don't have much here, but I'm constantly adjusting.
And she's a pretty busty woman. Like I've seen other photos of her. I'm like,
she is.
So it's like I can't.
Yeah.
Like, we just never saw it. It was always like a scene they cut away. It was, she's in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Should have worn straps on this one.
Yes.
Tape.
Yes, all the tape.
Too much running. There's so much running though.
It's athletic.
Oh, I know.
No,
just get to the point, right? You just let him go free, right? You don't even care anymore. You're trying to survive.
No, it's that either double-sided tape or glue that they use in the pageants. It definitely stays.
Yeah.
We were having a similar conversation when we were talking about Mad Max and those costumes too.
Oh, on Fury Road?
Yeah. There's like nothing to them.
No.
Like,
and they do a lot of crazy shit, and you're like, how? Okay.
Yeah.
Those are magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
go.
God damn it, Dan.
I was trying. I was trying to. Good Lord. Fuck you. Go ahead, Your Majesty. Fuck.
No, Dan, go.
Just kidding. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say it was a good movie. I'm just waiting for the goat laughing cut, so they'll take that out.
We need a 4K release of this movie. I would buy it in a heartbeat. It's currently on Amazon for like $14 on Blu-ray. They don't have a 4K version of this yet. You can get it on Amazon, which I was going to rent it, but you can buy it on Amazon right now for like $2 digitally. So I was like, well, I might as well keep.
I watched it on Hulu.
I
watched it on Hulu. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It was on Hulu.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
why didn't IMDb tell me that?
We're blacklisted.
Blacklisted on Hulu
and Disney Plus again.
Account doesn't work, so.
So Angela, how are you going to watch the movie we're going to be covering next week?
Rent it somewhere else. I don't know. What's it?
To figure out. So this isn't the first time that our account has been blacklisted. When Disney Plus first when they first started, we signed up and they're like, "Oh no, you can't sign up," and I'm like, "Why?" So we had to call them then they're like, "Oh yeah, your IP's been blacklisted." I'm like, "For what reason?"
What are you doing?
So then I had to recently, like a few weeks ago, call them, and we were on the phone for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
To get them. He was on the phone with Hulu, and I was on the phone with Disney. Disney finally figured it out and reset our IP, and we were able to watch something for like 2 weeks, and then
did it again.
I'm like,
so
I paused our subscription to Hulu because I'm like, this is bullshit.
Wow.
Yes.
Because your IP is blacklisted. So even if you like try
I
to
guess
set
it's
up another account with a different email, it would still fuck with you.
Yeah, I guess it's through Spectrum that we have our internet through.
Oh, I had a random thought. But what I was
Spectrum.
What I was gonna say, I think the movie's great, and I think you need to watch it. I'm gonna buy it, and I did buy stuff off Grove, like you recommended or whatever. They have a good.
They have a fantastic 4K selections for super cheap. They always have sales like every week. We're gonna.
They got their Black Friday stuff.
Black Friday.
They got their Black Friday stuff too.
They do. Yes.
So
a lot of great titles on there. If you're if you're a physical collector, it's a great site to buy Blu-rays, DVDs, all that stuff. So. We're not even sponsored by them, but I'm going to shout them out anyways.
No, we should be.
Someday.
I thought about this, and there's no way this takes place anywhere else but the Northeast or California, like you mentioned.
It takes place down the street, Dan. It takes place in my house. Remember, this is my wing.
Yeah, exactly. It has to. And you're just the fenced-in,
it's right off
property compound. Sorry,
right off the kitchen.
I don't undersell your property compound. It's a few over. But no, because nobody has a fucking gut on them, except for Charity. I got one in my purse. Nobody has a fucking gut. There's no way it takes place in the South. No way. But it's a great movie.
Mm-hmm. Charity and her drug usage.
I'm glad you guys liked it.
It's good. Good pick. Yes, it was awesome.
Pick. When you messaged me, I was like, yes! Because last week's movie was fun to talk about, but Dan and Angela weren't big fans of it, but it was a lot of fun to sit down and talk about. Fear and Loathing is. Whew. Have you guys ever seen Fear and Loathing?
To be so negative.
Yeah, it's not one of my faves.
Same.
I hated to be so negative too because it was something somebody else picked.
It was a lot of fun, regardless.
It's not one of my faves.
But next week for episode 82, we're going to be doing another guest episode. We're going to be bringing in our good friend Andrew Schoening. Dan, we're kicking Dan out. He's getting the fuck out of here.
I won't be here.
We're bringing in our good friend Andrew Schoening. We're going to be jumping into the Star Wars universe for the very first time ever on the show. At least I think. I don't know. We've done 81 episodes of this thing, so I can't remember.
I don't think we've done it.
I mean, you think you would remember this?
I think it's the first time we're venturing into the Star Wars universe because of the fact that Andor is ending. We're going to be actually reviewing that. Me and Schoening are going to be doing that. So we figured, why not talk about the movie that kind of ties into it? So we're going to be doing Rogue One, a Star Wars story next week. And then the week after that, we're starting our Christmas movies.
Heck yeah, buddy.
Which is just going to be me, Dan, and Angela, just like old times. And then once 2023 comes around, we're going to be bringing back more guests. But our guests tonight have been fantastic. Thank you so much, Alli and Tammy, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, absolutely. You guys are welcome back anytime. Your husbands are welcome on anytime. That would be a fucking riot to have 6 people on this show. 4 is a lot.
Wow.
6? Whoa! Well, I'll have to take turns.
I have something I need to add before this all ends.
Okay.
I've not been on point in this episode, and I'm sorry for anybody that's listening at this point, but I just want to say cock, dick, cheese, anal, truffle butter, chode, gooch.
Is this your porn name for this movie?
No, not at all.
Were you being polite the whole episode until now? Like, why?
You really need to listen to their show more, Dan.
No, that wasn't it. I just felt like I wasn't on point, like with some of my stuff. I was like, I missed
the sexual jokes. Like,
I was gonna
waiting.
I was gonna make a comment that everybody exploding in blood at the very end was a metaphor for menstruation, but I was like, maybe that's too far. It's not really. I just pulled that out of my ass.
gosh.
I'm just fucking talking.
Yeah, because Dan, that's the worst thing you've ever said on this show.
Oh, absolutely. But like, I just don't know. The episode flowed, and I was like, I just got nothing to add to this.
Parker's gonna have to make a cut of all the inappropriate things that he's cut out that you've said. Like, oh, we can't post that.
Take me forever.
I feel like I feel like after that, we need to make sure that the guys are on your show. Because it would be just a fucking... It would be you guys talking about
queefs,
shit and tapes.
Say that way too much.
Dan, you need to listen to their show more because it's fantastic.
Fair.
Their show is the closest to ours. Of all the podcasts I listen to, their show is it's like, wow, it's literally, it feels like our show. It's great. And it's not me talking, so it's even better because I hate listening to myself.
How many times did Matt say taint?
We say
taint Donovan.
Yeah, taint
Poor
Donovan.
Taint Donovan. He was Hercules,
Poor
damn it.
Donovan.
You respect Hercules.
I know. I was ready for your porn name for this one.
Yeah, what's your porn name for
this? You let
Dan?
me down.
You haven't done one in a while.
I don't know. Ready or Not, the Bukkake edition. I don't know what the fuck you want.
No, it's Here We Come.
Yeah.
Because ready or not, here we come.
Yeah.
Here we go.
But it has to be just it's
CUM, of course.
Yeah, it has to be CUM. But it has to be like one of those just train videos where it's like one lady, just a shitload of bros. No offense to women. That's just how it has to be. Here we come. Like, it's kind of like hide and seek, but they just have sex. Like, I'm how you found me, and then we have to have sex.
There you go.
Oh, I would love that song to be like made into like a porn song. Run, run, run. It's time to run and hide.
Oh, God.
Over just various sex scenes. Like,
that sounds awful.
That really sap the mood. That would be like a strong mute candidate. But,
so good.
It would be. But like, if you're using it as intended, it would be a mute candidate for me.
Alli, Tammy, where can people find you?
So we are at Quad Pro Quo Pod across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we have a Linktree website and everything. Or that's basically it. Or if you're listening, you can really find us anywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, everything. So we're across everywhere.
Yes.
Yep.
And what's the next episode you guys got coming out? So
Robot Doc.
Right. This will be out on the 27th of November. So what episode will be your latest one? Will it be that robot one, or will it be your
Robot Jocks will be coming out on Thanksgiving. Okay. And then the episode after that will be Black Christmas. So
there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to check.
So it'll be all the holiday movies.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm always you guys are top of my listening list. You guys,
thank you.
The whole group is hilarious. You guys run a great show, and you guys are fairly new. You're not. What are you on right now? What's your episode count?
22.
Yeah, Robot Jocks will be 24, I think. Yeah, we started June of 2022. So
that was episode 22 was like 3 episodes into us being Dissect That Film before when we changed our name. So it's like it feels like forever ago for us. But like you guys, you guys kill it. You guys. Great show. I can't say enough things about you guys.
Thank you.
Looking forward to having your significant others on the show as well. That would be a blast, and definitely having you guys back.
Thank you.
That one you can kick Angela out, and it could just be the guys.
Just do the guys.
We might be sparing you.
We're all just swinging our dicks around. I don't know what's
going on. Meat spin 24/7.
Oh,
it wouldn't surprise me.
Jesus Christ.
At this point.
So every cam would just be fucking pixels. Like,
oh Lord! So
we've been married for 15 years. Nothing surprises me that anything you say anymore.
I just means I have to work harder. That's all it means.
So what we're going to be working on, we're going to be having our next review. Will be Star Wars. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. We're going to be reviewing Andor. I'm also hoping I can find someone who wants to review the Chucky TV series season 2 because I don't want to do it by myself. But if it happens, it'll happen. But there'll be a review for that. Also, I've been releasing some shorts on our YouTube channel of Screenbox reviews of movies that probably not a lot of people have heard about, but I figured I'd put some shorts up on the YouTube channel and also posting it on our TikTok, which is all Dissect That Film. Wherever if you want to find us, just type in Dissect That Film and you're most likely going to find us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all those fun places. Yeah, that's about it. Until next time, I'm Brett Parker. That is Dan Angelo of DNA Gaming. Wait, I got to figure out where you guys are. That is Alli. And that is Tammy of the Quad Pro Quo Podcast. This is an episode 81. 2? 1?
81.
This has been episode 81 of the podcast. What episode are we on?
I think it's 81. Because
I did this last week when I was like, oh, so we're going to have Alli and Tammy on to talk about, and I couldn't think of the name of the movie. Dan, what episode are we on?
It should be 81. Because I remember I fucked up on the start of Predators, and you're like, no, it's in the 79.
This has been episode 81 of the podcast. We'll see y'all next time. Words are hard. Bye.
Bye.
You guys don't have to.